So hi, this is Curtis and JD from Deadstring Brothers with Emily from Vinyl Mag, and we're going to do an interview about our new record, Cannery Row.
So how did you all come together?
Well, JD and I mean, we basically, the band, I ended Deadstring Brothers at the end of 2010 because touring, and I just had so many different lineups on the road all the time, and I just got frustrated, and I was telling JD in 2010, I go, man, and he was in another band that was playing 200 plus shows a year. And I told him, I said, I don't think I can do this by myself anymore. So at the end of 2010, I started doing a one-man performance and just called it Deadstring Brother, you know. And I did that all through 2011. And then in 2012, JD left the band that he was in. And so when he had left his group, then I thought, well, if I had him, it'd be safe to do a band again, because it's just really hard to manage 5 or 6 people in a band if you're the one that everyone's looking at across when things ain't going good. And I'm going, well, he's a big guy. You go look at, try to give him a dirty look, because he's gonna put you on a bus and send your ass home. Right? So I needed some muscle in the band, you know. And look at that guy.
At least you got it.
He's a Viking, you know.
So I fit in Scandinavia.
Yeah, you get him in there and you just go, okay, you guys got a problem, you talk to the boss. I'm going to drive the van. I'll sing the songs, you got to talk with him.
That was a good call.
Yeah, so I just thought it was a safe bet. And so JD and I, yeah, we've been buddies for years and years and years, but we kind of revamped the Deadstring Brothers last year, and that's when we kind of set the whole thing into motion.
So, Cannery Row, let's talk about it. Was it inspired by or I guess, did you get the name from the John Steinbeck novel, or was it from the place?
It's actually where I live.
Yeah?
I live on Cannery Row in Nashville, Tennessee.
Did you know it was a novel, or did you read the novel?
Oh, no, I knew. I read it. Most people read it when they're younger, but yeah. But that didn't really tie into it.
So what about the place inspired you to name it after?
Cannery Row in Nashville is a bunch of these brownstones that are over 100 years old. And they're in an area that's getting really, really built up. And so things in that area are changing rapidly. And I've been lucky enough to live there for the last few years, and they're building this big convention center across the street, right across the street. And it's transforming the entire south part of Nashville. And so then you write little fictional stories or stories within that premise of writing a record around the idea that this little old neighborhood is about to just get surrounded by everything modern.
So is that why you wanted the picture to be of it?
Yeah, that picture's from the back of my loft, yeah, and so I thought, well, it makes a lot of sense, right, to photograph the building that you write the songs into. So.
Where did you record it?
We recorded it in
East Nashville at the Reel, which is, it was a comfortable setting, and only that it was, basically a house type setting set up, and we would work our way through the songs, and immediately after we knew exactly what the plan was, we'd record it right then and there. So.
And it was all cut to 2-inch and mixed to 1/2 inch, and then even mastered to 1/2 inch. So the lacquers for the vinyl were cut off 1/2 inch tape. We never hit digital at all. A lot of people just allow it to go to digital for mastering, and then allow their lacquers to be cut from that.
Yeah.
And it just seems like if you go to the effort of doing it analog, why don't you just finish the process that way? And luckily JD and I were lucky enough to meet Chris Mara at Welcome to 1979, who's tied into that whole world. And they're actually at Welcome to 1979. They're actually they're beginning to do this all in-house. So they have a 2-inch studio that's all MCI machines and consoles. And the Tommy Wiggins, the fellow that mastered it, who's an analog mastering genius guy, he's moving his mastering lab into Welcome to 1979. They got a special room for him, and then they're putting a lacquer cutting lab in there as well. So if somebody wants to go in there, they can cut their record all the way up until their masters are cut to lacquers, and then the record was even pressed in Nashville. So the vinyl portion of our album was completely done in Nashville.
Yeah. So how do you think, because you're from Detroit and then you went to Nashville, how do you think being in Nashville has changed or influenced your sound?
I don't know, what do you think, JD?
I can hear it in his writing. I can hear it in especially in the lyrics. I mean, you know, the themes are definitely drawn from where he's at now. And maybe in part, like he said, where some of the songs were written very quickly, you're going to draw on your most recent experience at that point. So I'd say that definitely sticks out.
Where we come from in Detroit, you know, I mean, it's hard for folks to be full-time musicians up there. We've been lucky over the years because we've toured so much, and so we've been living on the road a long time, and so we've been able to do that. But when you make a record in Detroit, it's not like the 60s in Motown when all these fellas where you had a stable of full-time studio musicians and touring musicians. Detroit is just, they've lost a lot of that, and so the fellas that are, if you're going to call in people to play up there, you're not going to get full-timers. You're going to get amazingly talented folks, and definitely not selling them short on that. But when you go to Nashville, I mean, these guys are doing this every day and in high-pressure situations where they got to crank tunes out, and they have to, it's just, they have to be just deadly serious and just super on it, you know. And in our thing, we did have a bit of pressure because we recorded the record in 5 days, and they took so much pressure off of us because they all worked so quickly, you know. So we were able to just move along really at a really fast pace so that we could get the whole thing tracked in such a short amount of time.
So it took you 5 days to record, but how long did it take you to actually write the album?
Well, unfortunately, I only had 4 of the songs finished going into the session, so JD and I had a day and a half to sit down and flush out a bunch of arrangements, and so I'd play songs for him. I go, do you like this one? What do you think? And he'd say, oh yeah, I think that one's really good. And I'm going, well, I don't have it done, so I got to finish it, but we'll earmark this one, and then we'll take it into the session, but I'll need to work on it before. So there was only 4 of the songs were completely written before we went in, and so each night when we'd go home from the sessions, we were cutting about 4 songs a day in the session. So I'd just go home and stay up real late, kind of finish them up, you know, because I had parts in here and there, so I was just kind of throwing them together, and hopefully not throwing them together, but yeah. As soon as we were done with the session, we were straight back on the road, so it just was something that had to be done, and I never had that much pressure in writing before, but, and then you gotta just let a lot of stuff go, where I'm used to producing a record and spending time on it, and being able to record a bit of the record and step away on the road or something, and then listen to the stuff and critique it, and then go back and maybe make some adjustments to it or something. And you can't do that, and especially recording entirely analog, you can't even edit anything, so all the performances had to be the way that they were, and we just barreled through it, and you know. And then you have regrets because you think, oh God, we could have done so much more with this piece of music. But you know, you just got to make another record if you want to get over this one. Yeah. You know? Yeah. So we're just gonna make another one so then I can get over the fact that I thought I could do some stuff better.
You've been compared to Rolling Stones, Exile, and Main Street a lot. Do you agree with that comparison, or do you like it?
Well, I mean, you know, there's worse things to be compared to, I suppose, you know. And that era of music is what I drew off of to start the entire band. There's a lot of other influences on those records, but that one comes out because I think I kind of sound, you know, and that's your voice is your voice. You can't do much with it. You can't change it a whole lot. So people said I sounded like that guy, you know. And I'm going, well, I wish I sounded like J.J. Grey or somebody, Greg Allman, but I don't. So. I mean, I like a lot of music that's post-70s and lots of it, but for what we're doing, I mean, we're pretty genre specific in the music that we're doing, so we just want to just kind of see that through, and so we just kind of agreed on the whole outlook of how we could do it, the aggressive approach to the road, how we want to make the records, stuff, and so that's kind of how we did it. And he's just been commuting from Detroit because he's still staying up there, but we're on the road so much that it's just it's either a plane ticket or something, you know, zoop, and then you're out for, you know, months at a time. So does that answer that question? Am I just meandering?
That works for me.
Because I haven't even had enough caffeine today, but you got me pretty talkative, so.
I'm okay with that. We're good. So you played South by Southwest.
Yep.
How was that?
How do you like it, JD? How do you like South by? We lost a shit ton of money.
Yeah.
You don't get paid.
You basically like open your wallet. They come in, they take everything out of it,
Oh man.
and then they grab your check card and they overdraw it, and then they take your wallet and stomp on it for a while, and then they give it back to you. That's kind of what South by Southwest.
Well, and that in a nutshell is the fact that we were there for a week because we were helping some other folks out with their music and stuff. So we spent a week where we weren't playing our gigs on the road, making any money. And so when you spend a week off the road, when you're a road band, any road band that's out there knows what we're talking about. You basically just you know, anybody, if you lose a week worth of wages, you guys were, you know, you lose that. That's what we lost, all of us in the band as an organization. So it's a hit to take, and we knew we were doing it because there was a friend of ours that we were supporting his band. Mm-hmm. We were actually being his band. A good friend of ours, Stephen Collins, who has a band called Dead Man, and we toured in Scandinavia together right after South by. So we were rehearsing with him, and we played some shows down there with him for South by. And so we basically spent an entire week down in sunny Austin, which is a beautiful town. And
yeah, we were there.
Yeah.
We were loving it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place,
yeah.
right? Yeah. So I'm not saying we didn't enjoy ourselves. We just were very broke, and it takes you a month or two to recover from doing that.
What is next for you as a band?
Another record.
Yeah, when we did the Cannery Row record, those sessions were cut. The Americana Music Association does their conference and festival every September in Nashville. Mm-hmm. And we recorded it kind of over that week, didn't we?
Yeah, it was during.
And
exactly
we're doing another one that same week because a lot of our friends and fellow musicians in Nashville that are working with us on these records, they usually take that week and they usually stay in Nashville because so many contacts come in from Europe and all of the coasts and everything come in for the Americana thing. And so they're there, so we can bait them into the studio that week. So what we'll do is we've already booked the session. So we got the session booked, and we're gonna cut a record that third week of September.
Have you started writing it already?
No, we're actually doing a bunch of covers. We're doing a honky tonk record.
Yeah.
And we're doing songs that aren't really honky tonk songs, and some that are. And we're going to do about 13 songs, and we'll maybe do 3 or 4 originals, but I think that's what we're doing. Are we doing that still?
Yeah, 3 or 4 originals. Okay. We have one by one of the biggest country artists ever that nobody's ever heard.
Yeah, so
we're just going to let that
a song I mean, a huge classic country artist from the 60s and 70s, a song he never released, and
was only ever
played. It was gifted to us, the song, so we can cut this unreleased track. And then just a bunch of songs of artists that we really love, like country and otherwise.
Can you tell me, or
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm. I mean,
we can list some of the artists that we're.
I mean, we're gonna do. You know, we'll do like something like a Dylan song. Even I got a Nick Cave song that I know that I can make a country that everyone would probably think you're a lunatic for making a Nick Cave song into a country song. But just some beautiful. He's written so many beautiful songs, and you can arrange them any way. You know. And
Prine.
I mean, but Prine is pretty. That shouldn't be really out of the wheelhouse too much. That anyone be surprised that we do. I mean, we do Prine on the road, so. But yeah, I mean, a lot of, you know, not classic, more, not real topical or typical, you know, honky tonk stuff, but.
We might do a couple hometown friends.
Yeah, we might, and some stuff of friends of ours. Yeah, some songs from some friends of ours that don't get the exposure, and they're great songwriters, and so we might cut some of those songs, and we haven't really narrowed the list. I mean, we've got a really long list going right now, so and it'll probably narrow down come August and stuff.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah.
It's pretty cool. All right, we're good.
How'd we do? Pretty good.